Hey, what's up, you guys? So today I'm going to be harping on not having social media again. It seems as though it may be my only personality trait, seeing as this is the fourth video I've made about it. But I wanted to talk about specifically a barrier to deleting social media, which is, I think, the reason that most people don't, is that there kind of isn't really anything to do if you're not on your phone. So, like, say I'm bored, right? Whether I want to kill a few seconds because, I'm waiting for someone to respond to my message, whether I want to kill a few minutes because dinner is soon and I don't have anything better to do in the meantime, or whether I want to kill a few hours or an entire day, your phone is uniquely able to just sort of be an infinite entertainment box and to, like, time skip however much time you'd like. And it's really, like, interesting how, like, at least I use it as a time skip. Like, I'm just sort of bored and there isn't anything better to do right now, so I'm going to go on my phone until there's something better to do. So, like, I have plans at 4 o'clock, right? Say, like, let's just say, I have plans at this specific time during the day. Well, I woke up, it's 11. I have plans at 4, right? I have something to do as soon as it hits 4 o'clock, or, even a little bit before 4 o'clock, because I've got to get ready and stuff. But for the rest of the day, I don't specifically have anything set in stone to do. So what I opt for is to do nothing. So that's actually, I mean, I wasn't hanging out with someone at 4, but that's what happened today. Is I was, I had something to do at 4 for a couple of hours. I had to leave at 3 something in order to get there on time. But what I did between when I woke up and when I had something to do was just kind of kill time. I just sort of opened my infinite entertainment box and killed the time. Just sort of time skipped away, like, everything in between when I woke up and when I had something to do, because otherwise it seems as though I would just be sitting there doing nothing, right? So I have social media deleted except for YouTube and Pinterest. I'm trying to go on Pinterest less, but every once in a while it does give me ideas for things to do outside of going on my phone, so I feel like it's a necessary evil. And YouTube, I like to post on YouTube. And also, I like to, like, learn things on YouTube. Like, I feel like mostly my usage case with YouTube is educational content, and so I similarly feel like that's not something that I should delete. Not even that it's a necessary evil, just that it's something that is necessary for me. But at the same time, the fact that I'm able to just go on YouTube and waste away the whole first half of my day kind of sucks. It sucks that I want to do that. But at the same time, I mean, it's not like I'm going to go out and hang out with a friend for, like, an hour and then just come home. That feels like it's not worth the trip. I don't have any personal projects right now that I specifically want to be doing. So what else is there to do? And the answers are, you can scroll on your phone, you can play a game, you can talk to a camera, maybe do two of those at the same time. But, like, it feels like there really isn't that much to, like, do, It feels like a lot of time is just spent, like, waiting for something better to happen. And, like, it's just as, like, a result of the, like, society that we live in. Like, not to say we live in a society, but, like, I mean, well, we do live in a society. Like, it's very, like, there isn't really that much to do. And even if you are doing something, so say, like, yesterday, right? Yesterday, I have a current project right now that I'm trying to make a sign out of wood. So, like, I was trying to I had a wall design that I found at a Goodwill. It said "Live, Laugh, Love." I thought, wow, it would be funny to have a "Live, Laugh, Love" sign in my room as an 18-year-old because I'm very much not a middle-aged white woman, which would be the target audience. So it'd be funny for me to have a "Live, Laugh, Love" sign in my room, right? Um, so I tried. So I was going to. I wasn't going to put it on my wall though directly. Like it's a wall decal, but I wanted it to be on a sign because I'm going off to college in less than a month. So I'd like to, bring it to college. I think it'd be funny. I had some spare wood, and I was trying to think of how to get this wall design onto the wood because it came with the actual thing that said "Live, Laugh, Love" and a couple of squiggles, and yeah, the stuff doesn't stick right to wood. It's meant for a painted wall, but I didn't really want to paint the wood. So that was sort of a project for a little bit to figure out, okay, how am I going to transfer that? And I figured out that there isn't really a good way to transfer it, but I isolated the text, and I was able to just put it on transfer paper, like t-shirt transfer paper, and iron it onto the wood, and that worked great, So that was a fun little project, but it's not like that took up an entire day. It took up a couple hours at most, And so if I've got a day just by myself, it would take a lot of those little projects to actually fill up a day, Like, I'm trying to imagine if I didn't have easy, cheap entertainment, like going on my phone or going on the computer or making a YouTube video or whatever. If I didn't have, like, these super easy ways to just kill the time, how would I actually do it? I feel like I would need to make so many things to kill the time, right? Because I made this sign in, like, I don't know, I, like, figured out over the course of, like, a couple of days, but maybe a collective 1 hour, if glue would work, if Mod Podge would work, if I could put some Mod Podge on the wood and maybe that would make it stick, tracing the specific letters in Gorilla Glue, Mod Podge, try to see, like, what works. I maybe spent, like, an hour or two over the course of a couple days, with time in between to, like, actually gather the materials and buy the Gorilla Glue to try, buy the Mod Podge to try. But that took very little, like, time out of the day, And, like, when I actually assembled the sign, it took, like, all of, I don't know, an hour. Like, I figured out that you can use t-shirt transfer paper on wood. So I printed out the design, which took all of 30 seconds, Then I ironed it on, which took, like, less than 10 minutes. And then I put Mod Podge over the whole thing, and that was that. And even in between, when I was waiting for the Mod Podge to dry to see if everything, worked out, I watched a YouTube video, because it took a while to dry. I smeared it on the whole thing, because when I did the transfer paper, it was, like, all the letters were a little bit, or, like, the space around the letters that I had to cut out of the transfer paper was kind of shiny, and it didn't quite look right. So I decided to put Mod Podge over the whole thing to sort of seal it in and make it all shiny so you couldn't actually tell, like, where exactly the cutouts of the letters stopped, because that felt kind of unprofessional. And, it took a little bit for that to dry, and I couldn't just sit there and wait because, I'm gonna sit and watch glue dry, So even though that entire endeavor took, like, maybe 2 hours total, spread over a couple of days, I still had to, like, supplement it with, like, cheap entertainment with, like, watching a video to kill the time. And, like, it just has been making me think, like, I have social media deleted, but I still have a couple of, like, sort of crutches, which are YouTube and Pinterest, as previously mentioned, where when I need to kill time, I can still do that. But I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that. Because I made a sign in like an afternoon, you know? I built a table, I built an entire table with my dad in like 3 or 4 hours. And like, some of that was also like, oh, I decided to like get the measurements, right? I decided to like, I 3D modeled it beforehand. That took like an hour or two to get all the measurements right to make sure that it was going to be, like that everything would fit. I, I didn't actually go out and get the wood. My dad did. But like, it still like didn't take that much time. I built it in an afternoon, and if I took all of the individual parts, like, I mean, I could honestly probably do it in a day, Like, it's... And that was building an entire table. Like, that was a project that I felt like should take a long time. That was something I was planning on spending, like a week on, That was something that, like, I have a friend that was out of the country for a couple weeks, and I was like, what's a project that I can work on while she's gone? I did it in a day. That was supposed to be my project for the 2 weeks. Anyway, it feels like I'm not, like, it's weird to try to kill time outside of consumption because it's so easy to waste an entire day on YouTube or on TikTok or on Instagram, because I have these things deleted, but I deleted them because they were taking over my entire days. I know how much time you can spend on these apps. And like, just the thing is, like, it feels so hard to kill time outside of it, that even if I am doing a project that is like, something that I care about, something that, oh no, even if it's a project that like I care about, that I want to spend like an extended period of time doing, I just like, oh, I didn't even get that kill. Sorry. Like, even if I intend on spending a lot of time doing something, I still have to, like, supplement it with the easy, cheap entertainment. I still have to waste so much of my day just consuming. Like, yesterday, I was incredibly, like, well, I guess not productive, but hobby stuff, right? It's a weekend. I'm allowed to do something that I want to do that's not exactly productive. Like, I have these album prints. You can't really see them, but like over there, I made those album prints, right? I decided to make some more. So because I'm going to college soon, I want wall decorations, and there are a couple more albums that I wanted. So I decided to try to make some more wall decorations. I made 6 of them. I made the sign, and I still spent so much time on YouTube yesterday. I still tried playing Splatoon, and I played League, and like, I went on several different games and killed time in several different ways, because even with those 2 projects of, hobbies that I wanted to do, it still didn't kill my whole day. I still needed to go on my phone for a period of time. I still had 3 hours of screen time that day, which I know isn't that much, especially, like, compared to other people my age, but like, I still had 3 hours on my phone, even though I did 2 like artistic hobby projects. I wrote in my journal for like almost an hour. Like, I'm trying to spend time doing more things that matter, but it's still hard, Like, it's still hard to, like, kill the time, because a lot of the time you just have to sit there. And so, like, my natural reaction to this, I mean, maybe you're a little smarter than I am and came to the conclusion quicker than I did, but, like, my natural reaction to this is, how in the world did people in the days of before, when you didn't have a phone and you didn't have like a computer with YouTube and whatever, how did people spend every day that, like, every free day that they had? Because obviously when you have like work, that takes up most of your day, but like, how did people spend like a Saturday? And the answer is, you hang out with friends. You know, like, I feel like I'm like kind of late to the party and stupid for not realizing that immediately. But like, I feel like I almost don't blame myself, because I feel like the culture sort of shifted away from just sort of casual hanging out with friends all of the time, to friend hangouts being a more like planned out thing. Like, if I wanted to kill a couple of hours, in theory, I mean, like, here's the thing. If I wanted to kill a couple of hours and it was 1980, I would probably hang out with the people on my street, you know? The reason that it's such a big thing is because my friends live 30 minutes away. It would kind of be stupid to say I'm going to hang out with my friends for an hour when it's going to take an hour just for the drive there and back, you know? Man. Like, like, it gets harder to kill those smaller segments of time when everyone is so far away, and it gets easier to just turn to your phone, or even, I mean, I could even say, like, I'm going to text my friend for a little bit. But I've gotten so used to filling every little, like, pause with stimulation that I'll be texting someone, and in between texting someone I'll be just like going on Pinterest waiting for them to respond, you know, when they're typing up a message to respond to whatever I just said, or if they stop immediately responding to every single word that I say, then I go on Pinterest because I'm bored, you know? Because text also wasn't a thing back then. You would be on the phone and you didn't have something to just turn to. You know, you can kill those hour or two on the phone, or you could kill those hour or two on the phone or hanging out with a friend in your neighborhood. If you had more than that, then you could go to the mall or whatever local attraction your friends may also be at, or plan a hangout. You know, like, that's what people did. Is it was a lot more like social. And I think that, like, the issue is I'm trying to continue being isolated and also kill the time, and that's like not possible. You know, like, I'm trying to kill the time and waste an entire day doing things like sort of productive, but at the same time I'm trying to I'm trying to spend every day by myself and also doing things. And that's just not really possible. If you're spending every day by yourself, you need to be like, it's just not possible to kill all of that time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, a lot of the time, right, people say, I can't quit social media, I can't get off of my phone, because if I do that, what am I going to do in the downtime of my day? And the answer is, make less downtime in your day. The way to work around it is not just to pick up every single hobby you possibly can at home, because it's not really fixing the issue. You know, like, you're still just sort of wasting time and finding something that will help you waste that time. The way to, like, enjoy your days and feel like you're actually doing something with them is to go out and do something during them, you know? And it feels like obvious now looking at it that way, but I feel like I don't see people talk about it enough, you know? I feel like when, like, people say, I'm not going to use my phone for a week, and then they go out and do stuff. Like, people make videos of things like that, right? Like, I just watched this one video of this girl saying, I'm going to use a flip phone for a week, and then she went camping with her friends and whatever. And I was like, my reaction to that was, well, of course you can use a flip phone for a week when you're going out and doing things every day. You know, of course, if you have a million things planned for every single day and you fill up your whole schedule, then you're not going to go on your phone because you don't have time to. That's the point. That's the point. That's the point. That's the point. That's the whole thing. That's the point. That when you're not on your phone, you have to actually go out and do things to be entertained. People don't just sit at home and do nothing. And sure, sometimes you do, and that's why hobbies are important. That you could have a lazy day doing basically only your hobbies, but even people in the 80s probably supplemented that with, like, watching TV. You know? Like, it's like you can't really spend like days and days on end just on a hobby, you know? Like, it just doesn't really work. You don't have enough, like, you have too many like hours in the day to spend all of them. Ouch. You have too many hours in a day to just do a hobby unless you're really, really locked into it. Like, I've spent days playing games on my computer, which is sort of a middle ground for me, on whether it feels like cheap entertainment or actually doing something, because I do feel better, like, playing a game on my computer than just scrolling or consuming, because at least it's active, you know? I like doing this, even though it's, like, not as, even though it's not as good as actually going out and hanging out with someone, I'm doing something active. I'm playing a game on my computer. I'm, like, thinking, and I'm talking. It's, like, almost a substitute for it, you know? Jinx was the worst. I don't know. I guess, like, Yoni was probably fine. But, and I got an S minus. Bro was yelling at me the whole game, and I got an S minus. That's funny. Anyway. But, I don't know, it's like like, I can spend a day playing a game. I can spend a day doing, like, 5 different hobbies, but that's not supposed to be something that you do every day, you know? Like, if it's the weekend, you might be able to spend one of your weekend days mostly alone, but for the most part, like, there's 24 hours in a day. Sure, you spend 8 of them sleeping and another 8 of them at work, but then there's the other 8, and you really can't just be, like, woodworking the entire time, you know? Like, you can't just be, like, journaling the entire time, you know? And, like, I play guitar. That's another one that I'm, like, trying to list off. Is, like, I can't play guitar for 8 hours straight and that be my only form of stimulation. Like, it's great and it's cool and I enjoy doing these things when I have downtime, but, like, you're not supposed to be able to just do a singular hobby for 8 hours straight every day and be like, yes, this is good. I am, like, fulfilled. Like, I'm sure that some people can, but that's not how most people work. You know, most people, the solution is that you need to go out and talk to people. Even if you go to the store just to walk around, like, that's why malls were so great, because you could just walk around. Even if you were by yourself, constantly being surrounded by people is good. Humans are social creatures. You're supposed to be surrounded by people. You're supposed to be talking to people. But even if that's, like, even if you don't have a friend to hang out with, because, look, I've got, like, 2. You know, like, I don't have very many friends, especially not right now with everyone going off to college. A lot of my friends are going to, like, a lot of people that I was kind of, like, half friends with that I might have been able to hang out with, are going to college in different states. They're about to just basically move away forever soon. Like, it's hard to, like, you know, it's hard to get the whole gang together and hang out, or it's even hard to just hang out with one person sometimes, especially with, you know, it comes down to, like, the society that we live in, and I've already made a video about this, places less value on, like, hanging out in person now, because it's expected that, like, most people will just be online most of the time, so there aren't really a lot of places to just go. Like, malls died off, and even, like, I tried, last time I hung out with a friend, I tried just like walking around a Walmart because it was a place that was air conditioned and it was really hot out, and the Walmart was big enough that we could just sort of walk around. Um, and we literally got kicked out of the Walmart for being in there for too long. And another time I went to a restaurant with my friend for like, she had just been out of state for like a week. And we went to this restaurant to try to catch up. And we were just sort of talking, we weren't being loud or anything. We were just sort of talking. But it was a relatively busy restaurant, I guess. It was just a restaurant in our area. But when we finished eating, we were still just sort of talking because restaurants are communal places to just sit around and talk. But our waiter kept coming up to us and being like, "Oh, are you guys almost finished? The check is at the front. Whenever you're ready. Okay, whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, you can leave." And it felt like they were just sort of like, not as directly as the Walmart, a manager came up to us and said, "You guys have been walking around for hours. If you're not going to buy anything, leave." But like, it's like, I don't know, like, it's less like, it was less direct, but it still just sort of felt like they were like telling us to leave, and it sucks because it's like it is definitely harder to like hang out with people. It's harder to like have a place to go. It's harder to like, it's not built for like the society that we live in. Not to keep saying it, but yes, to keep saying it, is not built for malls or anything anymore, because people just don't hang out in person as much. People used to hang out in person all of the time, whether you're hanging out with your like direct friends or like just your neighborhood friends, people that you happen to be in proximity with, or even just going to the store and having a conversation with the cashier, because people don't really do that anymore. But like, I work at a retail job. I work at Staples, of all places. I've said it a million times if you've watched any of my other videos, but like, I get the older customers coming up to me and just sort of having a conversation with me and just sort of talking, and none of the younger customers do that. And yeah, sometimes it's kind of annoying. I just want to do my job. I don't really want to talk to a person I've never met before. But like, the truth is, that's just what the culture was. Before everyone was on their phones all of the time, people would go to the store and actually just sort of like talk to each other. Sure, it was small talk. It wasn't anything like life-changing in a Macy's, but like, it was conversation nonetheless. You would go somewhere and you wouldn't just go there and then like buy your item and do the self-checkout and come home, because that's not fulfilling, And not to say that you're going to get like cosmic satisfaction in your life by like, I don't know, making small talk with a cashier. Like, it's not like you're going to have the most deep conversations and it's going to be the most meaningful trip of your life when you just sort of go to the store. But here's the thing is, like, I don't know, I'm guilty of it too. I do the self-checkout whenever possible because I don't want to talk to people. But you kind of need to talk to people. You kind of need to, like, actually interact with people. And, again, not just go places to buy your item and come home, Like, you go there for, like, not quite the experience of being in the store, but I guess kind of. Like, you go to the store and, like, don't be afraid to spend a few hours out, Don't be afraid to park a little further from the front of the store to, like, walk a little bit there, Like, it feels like with the culture that we live in, everything, like, whenever I go out, it's always just like a chore, I guess, that like, oh, I have to go out and get whatever thing, Like, I have to go to Home Depot and I have to get the wood glue for my sign, for example, right? So I go to Home Depot. I, like, specifically, I went to Home Depot, asked the associate hey, do you guys have wood glue? If so, where is it? They told me an aisle number. I went to the aisle, got the glue, went to the self checkout, checked out. That's the end of that, right? Um, but like that's such a quick trip, you know? That's such like a yes, I did talk to someone during the trip. I asked where the thing was, but that was just to make it a little quicker to get out of there, you know? Um, and like, I don't know, it's just like, I could have spent some time moseying about the aisles. You know, I could have gone there, not parked as close as I humanly could to the entrance of the store, just sort of looked around, tried to find it myself, gone to a normal checkout line, and like, knowing myself, no, I would not have talked to the cashier because I'm anxious when it comes to social situations. I don't know what I would say to just some cashier, so I'm not going to. But like, I don't know, it just like I could have made it like I could have made it more of an event, you know, spent some more time just sort of being there, and I didn't. Why didn't I? I didn't have anything better to do during the day, you know? I didn't have like anything better to get to that I needed to get home and do it. I didn't even make the sign that day, right? Like I just wanted to get out of there to come back home. Why did I want to come back home? There's nothing fun at home, you know? I have hobbies and things I enjoy doing, but not enough, and not enough like motivation and like stamina in that motivation to spend entire days just playing the guitar or making a sign every single day. Like, that's just not something that's possible for me and basically anyone else, you know? Like, I don't know. It's just like, like, you're supposed to make your trips last a little longer. It's not just supposed to be the most efficient thing that it possibly can be all of the time. I'm just used to acting that way because I'm used to being at home, meaning getting to consume that cheap entertainment and getting to just, I don't know, like sit on my bed and scroll on TikTok. And that being the most rewarding thing immediately in the short term for my brain, because of how much stimulation it brings. Even though in the long term, it made, and like still makes, even though I don't have TikTok, makes me miserable, right? Because like that kind of thing just isn't, like you kind of go insane long term, you know? You kind of just become dissatisfied long term. But I still, like, since we live in a like culture of such, like, at least in the United States, this is completely United States centric. So is my entire channel, because it's all just based on my experiences, and I've never been outside of the United States. But at least in the U.S., we have like a culture of like, I just like, I don't know, like fast pacedness, a culture of like drive-throughs and like everything just needing to be as quick as it can. Everything being convenient and cheap and fast. You know, that's the culture that I live in the United States, right? That's most of what I get from it. So it's only natural that I'm going to go to a store and try to, you know, get in and out as quick as I can because that's just sort of what you do. But why is it what you do? You know, why would I go home just to go home and do nothing? Like, it just kind of feels like, I don't know. But I've been, like, sort of conditioned by either myself, the society, my brain, I don't know. But, oh no, dude, what the freak. But I've been, like, conditioned one way or another to say, I want to get through this as fast as I can. I'm going to, you know, optimize it. I'm going to ask exactly where this item is. I'll be in and out, quick self-checkout, and we'll be good and we'll be done. But, like, I don't know. But then I had the rest of the day. and I didn't do anything for the rest of the day. I just sat at home on YouTube feeling dissatisfied because I don't have friends to hang out with right now. I've got a couple, but for the most part, they're out of state, out of country, out of gone, you know? It's just like annoying. I don't know. It's hard to get around, you know? And I understand exactly why, like, people don't delete social media, because why would you if you have no idea what you're going to do besides sit at home on your phone, you know? If that's what you're used to doing, if that's what you've always just done, like, why would, like, how would you even know not to, like, I don't know, like, it took me a while to say, okay, the point is actually hanging out with friends and making the tasks take as long as possible, you know? The point isn't to optimize everything. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, you need to go hang out with your friends when you can and when they can, and when you can't, go do a stupid task. Go leave the house and wander around a store, because, like, that's kind of the point. Like, because you can. Because that's how you kill the time. That's what feels better than just sitting at home and watching YouTube or TV or a movie or, like, you know, whatever. Like, that's what actually feels better, is going out and moving and being around people. Again, even if you're not directly talking to those people, if you're with people, your brain likes it and it, like, feels good. Like, sometimes, sure, it's isolating. Like, I've you know, if you live in a city, like, I understand that being around people all of the time and not actually, like, having good conversations with people can definitely be isolating, right? But, like, for the most part, I'm thinking of someone like me who lives in the suburbs, right? If I go for a walk around my neighborhood, I might see a person or two, but for the most part, it'll be a pretty, like, solitary walk. It'll just be me. And sometimes that's great, you know? But a lot of the time, that's not actually what we need, even if it feels like it is. A lot of the time, we just need to be with people. And again, whether that's a friend or whether that's a stranger doesn't really matter, as long as you're just near a person or in a public space, or just generally, like, make noise, take up space, do things outside of your room, you know? And, I mean, if you're older than me, you probably already know that, right? You know, if you're, like, in college, you probably already know that. If you're, like, a full-on adult with your own plate, you probably know that, you know? But for me, this is something I needed to hear, right? Like, I'm just gonna walk all the way back. For someone like me, who just said, okay, I'm gonna delete social media, and then ended up just kind of sitting there because I didn't have a good substitute, and trying to pick up hobbies and wondering why I couldn't kill the day off. Go for a drive, you know? That'll take a while, you know? Go out to the store and just look around. Don't buy anything. Don't be stupid with your money. You know, don't, like, buy something just for the sake of buying something, but you can go out without buying something. You know, you can go out without, like, needing to spend money. I mean, unless you're really irresponsible with your spending habits, go to a store you don't like then, you know? Like, you can't stop spending money on clothes? Go to a hardware store. See what they've got. You're not interested? Okay. Just walk around. Like, it's, like... And it feels kind of, like, stupid to say. It feels like, sometimes it feels very obvious. Like, of course the point is to hang out with people. Of course the point is that humans are social creatures. Like, of course it is. But, like, I don't know. It's just like, you actually need to, like, go out and do things. If you don't have social media, if you're quitting social media, if you're getting a flip phone, you need to be able to go out and do things. Like, you can't just, like, sit at home and expect to be fulfilled, I guess. Like, because again, I watch these videos of people that say, I got rid of my phone for a week. And every single time, or at least most of the time, they're always out doing something. And I watch those videos. And I said, well, of course you can get off your phone for a week if you have something planned. Of course, if you're doing something all of the time and you have so many friends to hang out with all of the time, and you have so many things that you can do, then of course you can get off your phone. But I can't because, oh man. But I can't because I don't have that many friends and I don't have that many things to go out and do. And yes, you do. Yes, you do. It feels like you don't because you don't really do it super often. But every time you go to the store, you don't have to make it just a routine of, like, if it's a store you know, sure, you know where the items that you need are, but you don't have to go in the exact optimized route through the store to pick up all of the items that you need in the least amount of time. You don't need to rush to, like, you don't need to rush. You don't need to do things in as little time as possible. You don't need to, like, the point is to just sort of, like, chill out, you know? Like, you just sort of go out and do things to do them. Let your shopping trip take up most of your day because it feels so much better than just sitting at home for most of the day. Regardless of if you're, like, if you're sitting at home, like, just consuming and scrolling, or if you're sitting at home and actually doing something, it honestly still feels better to go home, or, like, to be out doing nothing than to be home doing something a lot of the time. Not always, but you kind of get sick of it after a certain point. It does eventually get to a point where I say, okay, I enjoy my hobbies, I like doing them, but I'm kind of sick of them. You know, I'm kind of like, I kind of can't keep doing this for forever and ever by myself. I need something else. I need something more fulfilling. And that more fulfilling thing ends up being going to the grocery store and choosing to actually talk to a person instead of doing the self-checkout, you know? And the more fulfilling thing ends up being going into nature and just sort of walking around and happening to pass by another person when you're on a trail, you know? Like, it ends up being, like, it ends up being stuff that's really simple. And, like, not to be the cliche of, like, you know, enjoy the little things in life, stop and smell the roses, but, like, but I mean, like, I genuinely, like, you're not gonna be happy if you're just sitting and scrolling on your phone. I think we all know that. I think we've all figured that out by now, you know? Like, going on social media is not fulfilling. And it's not, like, whatever. Going on social media is not fulfilling. It's not something that's going to, like, make you feel good. It's just something to pass the time. And I think that we can all acknowledge that by now. You know, at least things like Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest and, like, the scrolly ones, the Facebook, the Twitter, the X, whatever. Like, all of those are just there to kill time. You know, you're not doing anything productive on there, and you're not really enjoying your time a lot either. But, like, I don't know, I just, like, the answer isn't just to replace the time you spend on your phone with hobbies, because if you spend that much time in isolation, if you spend that much time just by yourself, regardless of what you're doing, it's going to feel bad. And the hobbies aren't nearly as stimulating as the phone. Like, when I tried to switch from my phone to hobbies the first time, like when I was first getting started with this 9 months ago, I had to like sort of wean myself off of short form content by just watching longer form YouTube videos and just sort of slowly watching longer and longer YouTube videos until I like felt my attention span come back, because it's like debilitating the stuff that social media does to you, genuinely. Like it's very like it's bad. But like once you've sort of built your attention span back up, that's my suggestion, is to sort of go from just short form content to like slowly bringing yourself up to like longer and longer content. So whether that's YouTube, like it was for me, or whether that's deleting social media and focusing on watching shows and movies, like it might be for some other people. I personally, like, I'm just not really someone that gets super invested in shows and movies, so that didn't work for me. But if you're someone who likes shows and movies a lot, okay, try putting down your phone for an extended period of time and just watching those longer shows and movies and things you really just have to sit and watch. And your attention span will come back, If you don't tab around too much, if you spend more than, 1 minute on each, video, on each thing that's entertaining you, you'll get, like, it'll like get better. You'll get a better attention span. You'll be able to sit down and do hobbies. And it was great for a little bit. But the thing is, you need to you need to rewire yourself almost to do that. And then you need to you need to rearrange your life, I guess. Something. Switch it around. Make it instead of saying, okay, I'm going to sit at home until the appointment that I have at 4, say, what can I do until 4? Right? What can I do, with my time? I can sit and do a hobby if I'm really feeling it. If I'm really feeling like I can sit and do this for, hours, then go do it. That's awesome. But if I don't feel like I can, hey, let's check the fridge. We need to go grocery shopping. Is there any items that I need? Is there anything I just want to sort of look around at? Is there any place I want to go? Do I want to go to a park? Is it a nice day out? Do I want to just maybe sit outside and exist? Maybe just sort of sit on the porch and watch the people walking by, walk around my neighborhood? It's important to, get out and do things, Again, you need to sort of rearrange your life around going out and doing things, instead of saying, I am going to sit at home until this thing that I need to do. What can I do at home for this thing I need to do? Because I feel like at least for me, maybe this isn't true for everyone, but at least for me, it was, I spend a lot of time at home by default. I think most people, at least if you're a part of Gen Z, do. What can I do at home? What is, how do I kill this time at home? How do I better spend my time? That instead of going on my phone, I can just turn to do something else. Instead of, grabbing, instead of grabbing my phone, I can grab my guitar and make something creative, and that works to an extent. That works when you're, killing a very small amount of time. That works when you've got 15 minutes before dinner, that, what am I going to do for those 15 minutes? I can play guitar, I can, work on my creative hobbies. I can work on, whatever, general thing that I might want to do. I can play a game of XYZ, right? That's when you start getting into those hobbies and just general things that you may be interested in. But it's meant for shorter amounts of time, because no one's built to, no one's built to just play their guitar for 8 hours straight, But if you spent a day going out to the park and then going to the store and buying some stuff and driving in between those. And, like, you pick up a little treat for yourself on the way home at the gas station. Then, I mean, that can take up a day, and that's fine, you know? Like, when you go out, it's easier to kill the time. It's easier to, like, even if you're not specifically with someone. Because obviously, the easy answer is go make friends and hang out with those friends, you know? Like, the easiest thing to do would be another S game. That's awesome. There's 2 S games in this episode. Nice. But like, the easiest thing would be just to spend the time with friends, to spend the time with, people that you're, to surround yourself with friends and always be going out and having fun and, like, just sort of hanging out wherever, which honestly, I don't know wherever. I don't actually know where to go to hang out nowadays, and that's a problem that I face a lot, because, like, malls are dead, and that's the place I would like to go. But, whatever, say, like, going to your friend's house, going to, like, an experience to have fun, going to, like, I don't know, like, I see the videos of, I didn't have my phone for a week, and people go camping, and people go to a scenic place and just sort of hang out with their friends in, like, nature. And that's awesome. And obviously, that's the answer, right? Is if you have friends and a great place to go, the answer is to go to that great place and hang out with your friends. But most people don't have that on call all of the time, Most people don't have, like, 5 friends that they can call up and do a camping trip for a week, and, like, have that just immediately work out. Most people, it's a little bit harder. Most people spend a lot of their time in isolation and don't quite have very many friends. Most people, see their friends not every day. But here's the thing, is even if you don't hang out with people that you know every day, you can still be around people every day. You can still go for a walk and be in public, You can still, like, go to the gas station and, like, give someone a compliment on their outfit, You can still, like, go places and have small, vague interactions with people. And that's infinitely better than just sitting at home every day, Because, again, whether you are, like, sitting at home on social media, whether you are playing a game, or whether you are doing something productive, after a certain amount of time, it all just sort of starts to feel the same, Because, sure, sometimes you get these really productive days where you do a lot. Sometimes you have a day, like I had yesterday, where I did a lot. I did 2 creative hobbies that I've been meaning to do for a while, that I was really happy and excited to do. But when I finished them, I just sort of didn't really feel, like, satisfied. It felt like I had still wasted the day somehow, even though I spent it doing things that I enjoyed, physical things, making things that I wanted. I didn't actually waste, like, any of the day. But since I was alone, and something in my brain or my body wanted to be with people, and I didn't leave the house, I still felt bad. And, like, I don't know. It's just, like, it is important to have hobbies, because there are those shorter lengths of time where, sure, maybe you only need to kill an hour or 2. And then you can sit down and do that hobby that you've been meaning to do, right? When I have time to kill, I make these videos, at least sometimes, like at least today. All the time I've had to kill today, I've made videos, or watched videos. I feel less good about the time that I've spent watching videos, because I was just sitting there and consuming, but the hours straight that I film videos, I feel good about that, And I've done that for several hours of today, and it doesn't feel bad. But the stretches of time where I have just sat and filmed videos in my own room do feel bad. Because even though I'm doing something more productive, even though I'm thinking, even though I'm, like, doing something and it's active and it's, like, even though I'm sort of, like, checking off all of the boxes, I'm not giving myself too much immediate stimulation, I'm still, like, engaging my brain and I'm still talking and I'm still doing something, I'm not actually physically with anyone, and doesn't feel super satisfying because I'm not actually physically with anyone. But the days that I spend, like, when I go out in nature, just sort of stand or walk or sit somewhere for a bit and just sort of take it in and am not distracted by my phone, and the times that I go out just sort of shopping to shop or looking around to look around, without trying not to spend an excessive amount of money because like the economy and whatever and like everything is rough, but like, just looking around to look around, that's not bad. Like, I'll just sort of walk around Walmart, see what they've got going on there, walk around discount stores, see what they've going on there, so that if I do end up buying something, it's not super expensive, but most of the time the stuff isn't exactly extremely appealing to buy anyways. I just sort of want to look around and see what's there. And the fact that there are people around me, the fact that I'm walking, the fact that I'm moving, the fact that I'm out of the house, the fact that I'm doing something, and the fact that I need to drive to get there, spend the time there, drive home, ends up killing a lot of time, ends up spending that time and you don't feel as bad about it. You get done with the day and you say, I was out all day. That was awesome. I'm tired because I was moving all day. I'm not as inclined to go on my phone after like doing this for an extended period of time because it feels better to go out and do these things than to go on my phone, And here's the thing, is I don't exactly do this all of the time. Like, it's something that I am making an active effort to try to do more. It's something that I am trying to spend less time on my phone, even though I've already deleted all my social media months ago. I'm still having issues with this. I'm still saying that, like, I spend too much time on my phone regardless of what it is. Like, I'm still spending too much time on my phone, even though I hardly have anything left on my phone. Because I see my phone as an infinite entertainment box. Or if I'm not on my phone, I'm on my computer. It's just very, I'm sitting at home and I'm entertaining myself, but even when I'm not, even when I'm doing something, it doesn't feel right. I need to go out more, I need to do things more. But that's hard. It is. I still sit here and go on my game, I'm not this perfect person that I'm almost intentionally painting myself to, not unintentionally painting myself to be. I'm not saying that I do all of these things, just that the times that I have done these things, I have felt more fulfilled. That I know it works because I've tried it and I have seen it, and it's not something that I'm able to stick to absolutely all of the time. But the more that you do it and the more that I do it, the happier I am. And the happier that you will be too. And the first step is delete social media, period. I will advertise it forever and ever. This is the 4th video that I have made about it. Delete social media. It made me happier. But it made me do these solitary tasks more because I thought that was the replacement. That is not the replacement. The replacement is to go out and do things. To replace it with actually seeing people, whether they're people you know or just people in passing. You need to replace going on your phone and being solitary and being on your own in your room or in your house to actually going out and doing things. Even if it's basically nothing, even if it feels like a junk activity, even if you're just going out and making an impulse purchase, even if you're just going out and doing nothing, the fact that you're out will feel better when you reflect on your day than having been in. And sometimes it will even feel better than having been in and doing something productive. So, obviously, take that with a grain of salt. There are some times where you need to stay inside and be productive. There are some times where, you don't want to spend too much money just going out all of the time. But, don't feel as bad about going out. Because it will feel better. Even if you're not actively hanging out with people, even if you don't have people to hang out with, it will feel better. Go to Walmart. Look around. See what they have. Most of it's not interesting, but some of it is. At least in my opinion, Some of it, I just walk down the aisles and I say, that's a tire for $50? It feels like they should be more expensive than that. You know? Like, it's stupid stuff like that. But the fact that I'm out and I'm looking at it feels better than just being at home. Because I went out and I did something. I can list off the activities of my day and say, I went to Walmart, I went to gas station, I went to this place, that place, the other place, I gave the cashier a compliment, I said hi to someone I knew in passing, and that was my day. And that doesn't sound like a lot, it doesn't sound like you did very much, but it feels like you did a lot. And that's what matters. The time passed, it feels like you did a lot, and the day was at least okay. At least that's my solution. Again, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I'm an 18-year-old girl, and you don't have to listen to me. But that's my opinion. And I think I'm right about it. Yeah. I've been talking with my hands a lot this video. I don't know, whatever. That's not something I usually do to that extent, but yeah, anyway. I think that's about all I had to say. But go out, do the thing. Don't spend all the time at home. If you're going to delete social media, don't expect to just be able to spend as much time as you already do alone, because it doesn't work. You don't feel fulfilled, no matter what it is. You'll never pick up that many hobbies that you're that interested in. Go out, do something dumb. Give someone a compliment today. Okay, that's the end of that. See you guys in the next one. Hey, bye.